I've got a couple of passport pictures that I took for myself and my daughter recently, and I'm going to show you how to correctly size and print out these pictures ready for submitting with a passport application or renewal. I'm going to be in Affinity Designer for this, but you can get the job done in Photoshop or even PowerPoint if you knew your way around it. When it comes to taking the passport picture, you should always refer to your own government's website for specific instructions. You don't want to get it wrong and have to resubmit later. In the US, if you do a Google search for US passport photo, you want the website with the .gov address. Anything else will just be a third-party service, and you'll get to a page like this that'll tell you everything you need to know about how to take the picture. There's also a page that has the photo composition template. This is going to be really useful. It tells you the exact size that the image needs to be and the proportions of the face and shoulders within that image. I'm going to right click on that, copy the image, because we're going to save that for later. If you're in the UK, you can do the same thing. You'll want a .gov.uk website, and on here you'll find all the instructions you need, and if you click on the printed photos link, you'll get to a similar template with the measurements and proportions you need for your picture, and you can copy this image in the same way. I've not looked at other countries' websites, but I'm sure they've got all the information you need. In general, the pictures need to be on a neutral background with neutral lighting and a neutral expression. A passport picture might be plain, but it's a snapshot of ourselves at a point in time when we're going somewhere. And when you've made a bunch of these over the course of a lifetime, you have a slideshow of yourself as you've gotten older. I think that's a wonderful collection of images to have. But I did find a quote from Cartier Bresson, and he said, "I infinitely prefer, to contrive portraits, those little identity card photos which are pasted side by side, row after row, in the windows of passport photographers. At least there is, on these faces, something that raises a question, a simple, factual testimony, this in place of the poetic identification we look for." Let's get these images printed out. The first thing we need to know is the size of paper we're going to be putting in the printer. I don't want to use a whole sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper on this because I'm only going to print out 2 or 3 pictures of each person. The simplest thing to do is cut the piece of paper in half, and that gives me an 8.5 by a 5.5 sheet of paper. For the Americans watching, that means we've gone from a letter-sized to a statement-sized piece of paper. In the UK, the equivalent would be going from A4 to A5. This is important so you know how to set your document up and the printing parameters we'll need to input later on. We'll open up Affinity Designer and head to File, New. In the print section of the templates, there is no statement-sized sheet of paper, but we can start with a letter-sized template and change the measurements to what we need. In this case, it will be a 5.5 inch width and an 8.5 inch page height, and then click Create. In the Document Setup tab, you can change your units from inches to millimeters if you need to. I'm going to leave this one on inches and click OK. We'll take the rectangle tool from the menu on the left. We'll draw a rectangle of any size you want. The critical thing here is to look at the Transform tab, and if you don't see the Transform tab, go into View on the menu bar, Studio, and make sure the Transform window is ticked on. In that window, there's a width and a height. I'm going to make the box a little bit bigger than 2 inches by 2 inches so that I can cut the border off the print after it's made. I'll choose 2.05 inches for both the width and the height. The box needs to be empty with a border. In the top left corner, I'll change the fill to no fill, and the stroke I'll leave black with a width of 0.5 point. Then we can select the Move tool by clicking on the black arrow or pressing the letter V on the keyboard and moving that over to one side. We'll make copies of this later once it's populated with everything we need. Notice that in the Layers panel, we have our rectangle and we're ready to go. Back to the website, we want the photo head size template with the inches measured on. We'll copy that image and then we'll go to Edit and Paste into our document. Make it large enough and click on the Crop tool on the left and get rid of all the space that we don't need. If it helps, we can unclick the Snapping tool on the top toolbar if it's not behaving the way we want it to behave. Once we've cropped it to exactly what we need, click back on the Move tool, and once again in the bottom corner, we'll change the width to 2 inches and the height to 2 inches to make the template the exact size we need. And drag this into the box we created earlier. You can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to make sure it's central. Next up, we want to bring in the passport photograph. You can drag and drop it from the location it's stored in. And then we need to move to our layers area to get things organized correctly. The original rectangle we made will be the primary object. Let's nest the passport template into the rectangle by dragging and dropping and making sure the blue bar isn't going across the full base of the rectangle, but the partial base, and that'll show that it's nested in. Expand that to see where it lives. The passport picture needs to be put into that nest as well, and we'll make sure it's at the bottom of the stack. Notice that the template is covering up our passport image. We need a way of looking through it and resizing the image to the correct proportions. The simplest way to do that would be to click on the template layer and then click on the blend ranges cog. We'll take our source layer and make everything white, transparent, by moving the right hand node to the bottom and bringing back the darker areas so we can use them as an overlay. It'll take a bit of tweaking, but this is what it should look like in the end. Now we can go back to our photograph, make sure we have the move tool selected, grab the corner of the photograph and resize it and move it around until it matches what we see in the overlay. And we'll try and get that to match as close as we can. In the layers panel, notice that I selected the photograph and not the original rectangle. If I select the rectangle, the entire thing will move around. But if I just select the photograph, I can move that independently. Once you've got something you're happy with, you can simply turn off the template layer by unchecking that layer in the layers panel. I'll collapse that down, and we can use the move tool to select that picture, either by creating a selection box with the mouse over the picture or selecting the rectangle from the layers menu. We can press Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V to copy and paste and put that underneath. I'll turn snapping back on so everything's aligned. You could even use Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste if that's easier for you. From the menu and line that up. We can fit 3 pictures in a column on this piece of paper. I'm going to repeat that process for the second person, and it's simpler this time. All I need to do is copy one of the original pictures. I'm going to put that selection right at the top, expand the rectangle in the layers pane, and delete the photograph from the picture. I'll drag and drop the correct picture in, and in the layers panel, drag that below the template and nest it in. I'll turn the template back on, and we're back to resizing the picture to make sure the proportions are correct. Turning snapping off might help with this. When we're happy, turn the template off in the layers panel, and I'll copy that picture 2 more times. So we have a full suite of images ready to print. Again, having the pictures lined up in a grid will make cutting them out easier later on, and having the black border around the picture shows us exactly where we need to make those cuts. Now we can send this to the printer. We'll go to File, Print, and make sure we have the correct printer selected. We'll go to the printer properties and make sure we've got photo paper selected. We don't need a fancy printer for this. As long as you've got good photo paper going through a regular printer, gets the job done. In the advanced panel, I'm going to change it from a letter size piece of paper to the one that's half that size. And in the US, that's the statement sized piece of paper. Okay that. In the print dialog in Affinity, we can see the paper size is now defined by the driver and the page size is correct. We'll make sure the fit type is scale 100%, and that way the 2-inch frame that we made in the document will turn into a 2-inch picture on the printed paper. We'll click OK, let the document print, and give it a couple of minutes to dry before we handle it. If you plan on using the document again in the future, don't forget to save it. You can press Ctrl+S or go to File, Save. Give it a file name that you'll remember for later on and click Save. In the future, changing the pictures is as simple as going in, deleting the pictures that are there and replacing them with the new ones that you need to print. Once the document's out of the printer and you've given it a few minutes to dry, you can use scissors or a guillotine or a paper cutter to cut just inside of the black box that you made, making sure that the final result are the same measurements that you were instructed from your country's website. The photographs are ready to submit, and now you can concentrate on packing your bags for the trip.